This afternoon, opposition New Patriotic Party officially commences processes to rebuild and reposition party for future elections that it constitutes a 9-member committee to address weaknesses leading to its 2024 electoral defeat.
Also, the Czar, lawyers of prime suspect in the murder of investigative journalist Ahmed Suale call for expedited trial in the case against their client who's still in custody.
Plus, Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa assures plans are far advanced to receive the over 160 Ghanaians earmarked for deportation from the US. Hello there, it's News Central Live on TV3. I'm Kemini Amano.
And I am Mawina Egbeta. The bulletin starts right now. Well, starting this afternoon from the quarters of the opposition New Patriotic Party, because they've kick-started a series of internal reforms aimed at strengthening the structures and restore public confidence after its crushing loss in the 2024 general elections. Central to this effort is the formation of a 9-member committee to spearhead constitutional amendments. This process marks the first concrete step in implementing recommendations from the Professor Mike Okoye-led committee that investigated the party's electoral defeat. The party in January this year formed an 11-member committee tasked with reviewing the causes of the defeat and proposing actionable solutions for future elections. The committee had faced significant criticism from within the party, with former Dom Kwabenya Member of Parliament Sarah Joasaph labeling it as bogus and lacking credibility. Although the content of the report yet to be made public, the party says it will analyze the report and in due course make some of the findings public. The General Secretary of the party, Justin Frimpong Kodia, is meanwhile cautioning against speculation that could cause harm to the fortunes of the party. Let's take a listen to him explain what lies ahead of the party after its National Executive Committee meeting yesterday.
The committee, led by Reverend Professor Mike Okoye, submitted their report to National Council. National Council accepted the report, but there are several steps that we need to take as a party. And key among the discussions that we had at National Council, and also based on the summary evening presentation that was done by Professor Mike Okoye, there will be a need for some constitutional amendment. So based on that, the National Council has constituted a 9-member committee to look at Professor Mike Okoye's report, particularly emphasis on where issues of proposals or amendment has to be made to our constitution. We have just received the report today. We are yet to go into the details of what is entailed in the report. In the coming days, whatever we have to bring out to discuss or to communicate to our supporters or our members, the rank and file of our party, we will do so. But we want to caution members of our party not to be in the haste to say things which are not even in the report, and for people to make several assumptions, to even make accusations and counter-accusations on social media, in the media. There is only one report, and that report is with National Council. As part of deliberation at National Council also, the party will be embarking on a thank you tour from next week, which we refer to as giving thanks to God in all things. In all things, we give thanks to God. And we are showing appreciation to the Almighty God for the elections, though it didn't go in our favor, but we are going around to express our appreciation to the rank and file of our party as part of reorganizing our base. We are also going to embark on membership drive, which the various regions will have the details as to how we are going to go about the membership drive. Again, we don't want people to go out and distort facts. We don't want our members to make irresponsible statements. We are cautioning our members that report is in. We are yet to even deliberate on the report. So people should be very circumspect in their utterances and their discussions. We are one family, and the most important thing is unity in the party.
Let's get onto the phone lines right now. That's the General Secretary of the NPP, Justin Frimpong Kodia. But let's speak to governance expert and fellow, the Center for Democratic Development, Ghana, CDD, Dr. John Osai Kwapon. Doc, I appreciate that you could speak to us this afternoon. I want to start it off from that thank you tour the party is intending to embark on right now that they've received the report. An important first step for them in this quest to reorganize their base again?
Yes, thank you very much. I believe so. I mean, they went into an election together. They were defeated in the election. For me, I think the party as a whole has to own and has to collectively own the result of the election. But there were people who devoted time, energy, and resources to help the party achieve victory in 2024. So I think it's the step in the right direction to do that tour and thank people and say, look, even though we fell short of our aim and our goal, we still appreciate all those who showed up to campaign for us, to canvass for us, to vote for us, all those who gave us feedback. We appreciate each and every one of you. I think it's a good gesture. The party really needs to begin to rebuild, rehabilitate, and prepare themselves for the road ahead. And part of that would include this show of appreciation. But I think as part of that show of appreciation, they would have to also admit some of the places where they fell short that led to their defeat in 2024.
At the heart of some of the things which cost them the election is what this 11-member committee has done its work, submitted the report to NEC. A 9-member committee has been formed to begin implementing recommendations from that committee work. Most of it, based on what we are understanding, having to do with constitutional amendments. You think that should be the most important thing they look at from the work done by the committee?
Well, I mean, I'm sure there's a basis for why the committee is recommending some reforms that also begins with the party's constitution. But beyond the constitutional reforms, I just hope that there will be other reforms within the administrative structures of the party and certain practices within the party. But I'm sure the basis for all of that would be first making the necessary tweaks to the constitution that would enable them make other administrative tweaks and reforms. I'm wondering, because I read in the news that the Honorable Dr. Edichum, for example, is asking for or is suggesting that perhaps the party expands its electoral college. So for that to happen, they would definitely have to make some adjustments and some reforms to their constitution. So I'm sure there are things that the 11-member Professor Okwe committee has recommended that it would take some constitutional reforms to empower party executives to be able to do. So that's why they are starting from the party's constitution itself.
We had the General Secretary as well speak to the fact that members should refrain from any commentary now that the committee has done its work. Another committee has been formed to begin implementation of recommendations. Is that the way to go? Asking party members to refrain from commentary and the decision that they will continue to hold this report to their chest, but yet again warning against public commentary and its possible implication, good enough to foster the rebuild and the unity the party is seeking to achieve?
You know, you really can't control fully what members of your party want to say in public spaces, whether on social media, whether on other forums. radio, TV interviews. You can't control that. Yes, you may want to appeal to their better angels and say, look, as part of rebuilding the party and forging unity, we strongly encourage that you desist from certain comments that may be injurious to the process of building, the rebuilding and forging unity. So you can sort of phrase it as an appeal and not necessarily as an administrative fiat to party members, because you can't really also quote unquote gag people.
Right.
And as for the report, at some point, even if it's not the full details of the report, the party executives and the party hierarchy would have to find a way of sharing, even if it's high-level summaries of the key points and the key recommendations with its party members. Otherwise, again, that lack of transparency and leaving a vacuum can fuel people's speculations and reading meanings and ascribing motive. And again, if you want to build unity and if you want to forge ahead in such a way that you bring everybody together where there is no pointing of fingers as to who contributed to our loss or not, these are some of the steps that I believe you would have to take. And so today may not be the day you want to release that report to your party members,
right,
but sooner rather than later, you want to share at least the findings and the recommendations with your party members.
Doc, finally from me, and leaning in on the task for party members to refrain, that school of thought or that opinion continues to circulate that, look, the defeat which the party suffered is widely known. The current executives are complicit in that defeat. They, in fact, blame the former president as well. Also, we've seen the latest work done by Global Info Analytics. And so some do not trust that the work that was done by the Professor Michael Quay Committee was good enough even to start off with, and that all of this is a big charade to seek to protect some individuals and interests. How does the current leadership cure this perception which is out there and festering?
The way you cure that perception is providing as much information as you can to your party members. Transparency is always the key to changing perceptions that questions motive or sort of fuels mistrust. And so I hope that the party executives do not hold on to this report for too long. As I previously said, it may not mean that you share the entire report in its entirety, but there are ways of making sure that the contents of the report in some form can be shared with party members, so that again you can forge some trust. Because in moving forward, if people don't know what they don't know, how then do you ask them to give you unity and to give you trust?
Doc, I appreciate that you could speak to us. That's Dr. John Osaya Kwapo. He's a fellow with the CDD Ghana, speaking to us this afternoon.
Now to our law cause. Now, lawyers of prime suspects in the murder of investigative journalist Ahmed Suale are calling for an expedited trial. Prosecution on Thursday pleaded for more time to put their house in order to present documents to the Attorney General and seek advice for the trial to proceed. Daniel Owusu-Kranton, the suspect, was initially charged with one count of murder, but an amended charge sheet includes a charge of abetment of crime. The prosecution alleges that Daniel led two others currently at large into the home of Ahmed Suale days before he was murdered. He is also facing a substantive charge of murder. Lord Eduasare is our court correspondent, joining us with a bit more on this story. Lord, good afternoon to you. What else happened in court today?
Right, Kemini. So, prosecutors led by Efua Bamfua Ado pleaded with the presiding magistrate in the matter to, as it were, give them some more time to put their house in order, because they say that the last time they came to court, they weren't given express orders to, as it were, file their disclosures for committal to begin. And so the judge in the matter, Susan Yakote, told them that, I mean, it's only twice that once you have amended the charge sheet, you file other disclosures to make your case before the committals will begin, as such will know if the trial will proceed or not. And so that's what happened. She adjourned the case to on the 13th of May for the committals to begin. And so when we come on that day, the prosecution together with the defense will put things in place, and then we'll see how the court will proceed with the trial, as whether they'll take advice from the Attorney General and then it will be escalated at the High Court. We are yet to know it at this point. Now, we spoke to one of the counsel for Daniel Granting, the suspect by name Kofi Esau. He was not too pleased. He was actually upset with how things are ongoing. He indicated that since the thing began, prosecution have just been dragging their feet, and all this is injuring their client because he remains on remand. In fact, yesterday they were at the High Court and then to try and get a bail, and this was refused, and he was actually remanded into prison custody. So he indicated that all this is hurting their client, the more that the prosecution delays with the investigations regarding this case. You can listen to him.
Basically, what we could surmise from the proceedings is that the prosecution is just wasting our client's time. As of now, from March 18th, when they first arraigned him before court with their provisional charge sheet, which subsequently, April 2nd, they changed to 2 counts. As of today, they couldn't come with any dossier ready for transmittal to the ages to draw up the bill of indictment, nor anything towards the committal proceedings. There's nothing. They were just apologizing to the court that they will come back at the next agenda, that the court didn't give them any specific directives. But it goes without saying, there's a procedure. If you've charged the person with a provisional charge, be prepared towards the drawing up of the bill of indictment. So everything should lead towards that process. If you respect the rights of the citizenry, particularly someone just allegedly charged with an offense of murder, which makes it so dire that no court can easily or would want to easily grant the bill by exercising their discretion with some measure, so that nothing towards happens and it will ricochet back to them. Why did you let him go and now he's on the run? So when it comes to such indictable offenses.
I see, Lord, we are now seeing also a change to the charge sheet against Daniel Granting. Tell us a bit more about that.
Right. Kemini, so initially, there was only one charge against him, but this time around, when they amended the charge sheet, he's been charged with 2. He's facing 2 offenses, one abetment, and then the second one, the substantive, which is murder. Now, the prosecution indicated that they indicated in their brief facts that days before the murder of investigative journalist Ahmed Suale, the accused person led 2 other alleged accused persons who currently are at large to the home of Ahmed Suale,
right.
And that substantively led to they're trying to connect the dots as to whether they were responsible for his murder. So they are still investigating and are trying to get those 2 who are currently at large.
Indeed. So when next are they expected back in court, Lord?
They're supposed to come back on May 13. That's way more than 2 weeks. And the judge in the matter indicated that the closest date available on her calendar is May 13. And then there's also the issue of the holiday, which is just around the corner. And so Daniel Granting, the accused person, will have to stay on remand in prison custody a bit longer as he waits for justice, or as the investigations on this matter continues.
Very well. We'll leave it here. Thank you so much for the reporting. Lord Edu Asare is our court correspondent.
Now, Ghana is set to launch the ECOWAS at 50 on the 22nd and 23rd of April of this year. The event, which will be opened by President John Mahama, will unveil the ECOWAS Golden Jubilee logo and theme, setting the stage for the year-long celebrations across all member states. Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa announced the dignitaries attending include the chair of the Authority of Heads of State, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu of Nigeria, the president of the ECOWAS Commission, and all ECOWAS heads of state, foreign and finance ministers and reps of the Alliance of Sahel.
The three member states, as we all know, have since formed the AES, which is the Alliance of Sahelian States. While this is a challenge for regional cohesion, ECOWAS, in response, must reinforce diplomacy, enhance security, and remain resolute in its vision of a united and prosperous West Africa. It is fair to say that this has been the philosophy underpinning President Mahama's recent shuttle diplomacy and pragmatic approach in addressing the AES challenge, which, as you all know, has been hailed by his peers and many other observers. As we mark 50 years of ECOWAS, it is imperative that we seize this moment to chart a bold and ambitious course for the next 50 years. The ECOWAS at 50th anniversary is not merely a ceremonial event. It is a strategic opportunity to celebrate our achievements in fostering regional stability, economic growth, and cultural exchange, strengthen solidarity among member states amidst evolving geopolitical dynamics, enhance public awareness of ECOWAS's role in peacekeeping, trade, and development, advance inclusive dialogue on the future of regional integration, rekindle hope and belief in the ECOWAS vision, particularly amongst the youth of our sub-region, and showcase Ghana's leadership in driving the ECOWAS agenda forward.
Meanwhile, the Foreign Affairs Minister also addressed the plight of roughly 160 Ghanaians facing deportation from the United States, assuring that the government is coordinating with all relevant agencies to ensure their safe and dignified return to their families.
Brief from our Foreign Service officials in Washington has not changed. We are still looking at roughly at about 160 Ghanaians on the deportation list. That number has not increased, and the deportations are going on. We decided on humanitarian and human rights grounds not to publicize the deportation. So when they arrive, our team welcomes them. We help them with integration and returning to their families, and we are working with other partners, NADMO, the Ministry of Interior, the IOM, and we are doing all of that quietly because it's important to respect the dignity of our fellow compatriots and not to subject them to media coverage and publicity that will injure their reputation and their ability to integrate, find work, and get their lives back. So that is going on, and we can provide updates anytime you want that.
Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa. You're watching News Central. When we come back, we'll tell you more about that drug bust in the northern region. Some 750 boxes of different milligrams of tramadol destroyed by the Northern Regional Police Command. More of that when we return.
You're welcome back to News Central, starting off with regional hub in the northern part of the country, where the Northern Regional Command of the Ghana Police Service has destroyed 750 boxes of different milligrams of tramadol, 38 boxes of sex drugs, and 46 compressed wraps of cannabis, among other hard drugs, after securing a court order to destroy them. The boxes of hard drugs were set ablaze at the Balahi landfill site in Tamale. Christopher Mwako is my colleague who's been following the team of police officials in the operation. Is joined us via Zoom right now. Chris, tell us what more you've gathered on this development, the intelligence-led operation.
Yes, so Marina, this operation was by the Ghana Police Service together with illicit drugs like the Narcotics Controls Commission and Food and Drugs Authority. And so today the stakeholders decided that an operation that was carried out and some illicit drugs were arrested together with the perpetrators. They were going to destroy them. And now, I must admit that the substances that were destroyed today are in high volumes. According to the Narcotics Control Commission, its street value will be around 500,000 Ghana cedis.
And these drugs that were impounded, it brings about the question of drug usage in the northern region. How widespread is it already? We know there's a background of a BBC report on the use of some very illegal substances, opioids, for that matter.
Yes, Marina, like you rightly mentioned, it is very widespread here in the northern part of the country because, first of all, the unapproved routes around our borders here in the northern part of the country, these illicit drugs come in through these unapproved routes. Now, aside that, the issues of cannabis also comes in. And so a lot of the youth here are engaged in the abuse of these drugs. This has resulted in the overlord of the Dagbon Kingdom, Yana Abukari II, and other stakeholders in the region, expressing grave concerns about the abuse of these drugs. So there has been a stakeholder consultative engagement to, as it were, engage all parents, school authorities, and other bodies to ensure that the youth do not go into the abuse of these drugs. Already, we have majority of them abusing these drugs. If you go to some forest areas in the greater Tamale metropolis, these youth go there to abuse these drugs, and it is actually having an impact on their lives. Let's take a listen to what the Narcotics Control Commission has to say about the abuse of these drugs in the region.
The documentation that was done, we are looking at a little over 500,000 cedis worth of products. These are products that were seized from retailers, not wholesalers. But very often the chances are that these products came in through unapproved routes. It's very certain that these products cannot come through our approved routes because they are not registered, and there's always verification before products are allowed in. We can always speak to addiction, and then of course, if you take beyond the recommended dosage, the effects are enormous. It can result in seizures, drowsiness. There are a lot, and of course, it depends on the consumer or the user. Just like with any other medicines, when you take them, the side effects are not the same. They are not common. This morning is the safe disposal of narcotics and opioids that were confiscated over a period of 2 years.
Chris, finally on plans going forward from the Narcotics Control Commission and then the Ghana Police Service as well, what are their plans in dealing with that widespread nature of drug abuse in the Tamale metropolis?
Yes, so Mawena, they have indicated that they are going to intensify their operations. As we speak, the police is strategizing to put in place some operations that will be carried out within the suburbs of the greater Tamale metropolis. Even though they have not disclosed to us when the timelines that they are going to use, but it is part of their plans to embark on a serious operation. And this is not the first time, though, the police is embarking on this operation. The Narcotics Control Commission is also liaising with the Pharmaceutical Council to ensure that some of the chemical shops and pharmacies that are engaged in the sale of these illicit drugs, they will apprehend them. They are also ensuring that they liaise with the Ghana Immigration Service and the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority to ensure that unapproved routes are given some attention, where there will be massive patrols along these routes to ensure that these drugs do not get into the country illegally.
Chris, thank you very much as always. That's Christopher Mark, who is my colleague in the northern region for us, talking to us about drug abuse in that part of the country.
Let's head for the Ashanti region now, where for years, the women and children of Abenasi in the Ejuso municipality have experienced the daily struggle of waking up at dawn to trek long distances and join long queues for water. Now, that is changing. The sound of gushing taps inside homes is replacing the old routine. Ghana has made strides in water access, yet rural communities like Abenasi have often been left behind. In a major step forward, local authorities have not only provided the community with water systems, but are extending pipelines directly to households, bringing hope, convenience and better health to the people. Now, this move aligns with the UN Sustainable Development Goal 6, which promises clean and affordable water for all by 2030. But for the people of Abenasi, this isn't just about policy. It is about transforming their lives. Ibrahim Abubakar is Ashanti region correspondent who's been covering this community, joins us with a bit more on this story. Ibrahim, good afternoon to you. Obviously, this is a huge relief for residents. How dire was the situation prior to this intervention? Ibrahim, you might have to unmute so we can hear you. While Ibrahim is doing that, it seems things are looking up and up for residents of Abenasi in the Ejuso municipality now that they have running water in the communities. Prior to now, the women and children of the community have had to resort to far distanced communities for water sources or potable water sources. Let's take a listen to some of these residents who have lived through that commute of finding water for many years.
In Sonyam by Fiano. Sometimes not by everywhere, sure. You call Nipa Bebre and a 30 minutes time a child so nature. Unless I would chem co school see our co send so from my between so now they are be your name. Into by a boy a pa.
Indeed. Ibrahim, the residents have just been explaining how difficult the situation was up until now. So I can imagine that, you know, it's quite a relief for them at this point. Talk to us about how this intervention is changing their lives. Is it going to everybody in the community?
Well, so the group are targeting 17,000 residents to be able to have access to water in their various homes. Now, like they rightly mentioned, access to water in the community was a luxury. They appealed to authorities for several years. They couldn't get any relief. So the chief of the area had to step in. He started digging boreholes across the area. And now we have the assemblyman and unit committee who have also teamed up with the chief to extend the water to the various homes. Like I said, they are targeting about 17,000 people. But as we speak, they are piloting, so about 70% of the residents now have water in their home. It means that the school children will be able to go to school on time. parents will also be able to finish up everything on time and be able to continue with their daily activity, because prior to this, they have to spend hours joining queues to be able to access potable water to their various homes. So it's quite a relief, and the assemblyman says they will extend it to the member of parliament for the area. Is also looking at how they will collaborate to also extend this kind of intervention to the many communities within the Ejusu enclave that is struggling with access to water. Let's listen to first what the assemblyman has been saying, also the member of parliament for Ejusu.
Very well.
Instead of carrying a bucket or a pan to fetch at a designated area, you will be at the comfort of your home to have access to a potable drinking water, which means with the SDG Development Goal 6, that is clean water and sanitation. We have given ourselves by the end of the year, we have to be cover about 80% of the all household in the Ejusu Abenasi area.
We should be able to put it on a large. As I stood there, I was thinking about other communities in my jurisdiction who will also be in need of this. So immediately I leave here, I'm meeting the assembly member and his team to see how we can look at, the framework and how we can replicate it in other areas to give our people, the essentials, the basics of life.
Thank you so much for bringing us this report from Abenasi.
To the central region now, where stakes are high at the regional capital Cape Coast as it prepares to confirm a new mayor for the city. The event, which is expected to have 45 elected assembly members and 21 government appointees, have converged to confirm the president's nominee, George Justice Arthur, as a new MCE for Cape Coast. George Justice Arthur, who is a former member and current Cape Coast South Constituency Secretary for the NDC, is seeking a 100% confirmation from both elected and government appointees. Meanwhile, some residents have been sharing expectations from the new mayor.
When he comes into office, I'm basically looking at the sanitation issues here. With a few months that I've been here, I think sanitation is not really in a top position. So I'm looking forward to him, curbing it or nipping in the bud, and also ensure that the youth unemployment too, if he can, definitely he should be able to help the youth in getting themselves job to do and all that. And of course, and market women as well, looking for the right places to sell their goods and all that. I think these are some of the things that I'll be expecting him to try the best that he can to, let life be much more exciting to live in here.
Cape Coast is very popular in terms of its tourist attraction and all that. So because of that, we get visitors day in and day out visiting the place. So we pray that our new brother, George Atta, the new mayor, to help with the sanitation and everything in Cape Coast. That is my plea, because cleanliness is next to godliness.
Let's take you to correspondent Thomas Khan, who is currently at the Assembly Hall of the Cape Coast Municipal Assembly, monitoring this event, and joins us right now with a bit more details. Thomas, how is it all shaping up this afternoon?
So, a while ago, the presiding member was confirmed. The Cape Coast Metropolitan Assembly has been without the presiding member for a little over a year. So the Assembly has just been being chaired by the outgoing MC, together with the Metropolitan Coordinating Director. Just a while ago, they confirmed the presiding member, who is one Godfred Abraham, who has been an assembly member for about 3 terms. And now the big one is just about to happen. Like you rightly mentioned, George Justice Arthur, who happens to be the current Cape Coast South Constituency Secretary of the NDC, is seeking to get a 100% confirmation from the assembly members. At the moment, as I speak to you, a lot of people have joined the assembly premises to cut all the action that is going on. At the moment, we are expecting the 2 MPs, that's the Cape Coast North MP and the Cape Coast South MP, in the presence of George Ricketts Aiken, and then Pamela Misenya. At the moment, we've not contacted them throughout the whole morning.
with all the activities happening, we've not seen them. But at the moment, we have seen a lot of the assembly members and party people who have come to the assembly, as well as some residents who are yet to witness situations. And already a lot of the residents are asking the new mayor of Cape Coast. You remember, Mawana, recently when there was a cholera outbreak, Cape Coast was named as one of the towns with cholera cases. Now, residents here are really expecting that the new mayor, once he takes office, will champion sanitation program that will keep the city clean, and as well as also create avenues for the youth to get some jobs. Right. So, Mawana, these are some of the things that the residents have been talking about.
Thomas, just so quickly, he wanted 100%. Did he get that?
For his confirmation, that is yet to happen. But already we have seen some kind of last-minute lobby from his camp and some of his, campaign people trying to speak to the assembly members to make sure that 100% that they are seeking from the House. As mind you, the composition of the assembly is not just the elected assembly members, but they have some government appointees as well as some from the traditional council and some key organizations who also form part of the assembly process. So they are all taking that support to make sure that they give an overwhelming confirmation to the president of the power.
Right then, Thomas, thank you very much for those details. That's Thomas Khan. He's a man in the central region on the confirmation of quite a number of metropolitan, municipal and district chief executives of importance. One that a lot of people are keeping their eyes on is the Cape Coast Municipal Chief Executive, and we'll bring you details of that subsequently if you stay with us here on TV3.
For years, the journey to market for farmers in the Atebu, Amanting and Kwame Danso areas has been an exhausting one. Battered vehicles navigate pothole-ridden roads, leading to significant post-harvest losses, long commuting hours and a surge in robbery cases. Belinda Tete has more in the following report.
The 78-kilometer stretch connecting agricultural hubs of Atebu, Amanting and Kwame Danso to major market centers has become a symbol of frustration and neglect. Deep potholes, some large enough to swallow vehicles, make travel painfully slow. During the rainy season, large portions of road become completely impassable. The impact on post-harvest losses is severe. Perishable produce like tomatoes, plantains, and even hardy crops like yam gets damaged during the long, bumpy journeys. Dr. Kwesi Kennedy, a seasoned farmer in Amanting, tells TV3 News that the road is not only difficult to navigate, but increasingly dangerous due to the rise in robbery cases.
When we harvest our produce, the means of transport the produce to the market to sell is a problem, because the road is no good. So if the farmer managed to send his produce to the market to sell, they are robbers to come and block the road, because they know that the road is no good. So they rob and take our money and go away.
He recounts how a friend narrowly escaped death after being attacked by robbers on the route.
My friend, colleague friend, he's going to school. He's going to school at Kumasi. In the evening, using motorbike. He went and met them, and they blocked the road, and he lied down. When he lied down, one of them used his leg to hit the head on the ground. So he annoyed, only him. So he's sleeping on the ground, and you see that one of them, the gun that they are using, is no good. So he get up and hold the one. Then they are fighting. So the one who started shooting, by the time he shoots, he didn't get him. Then they grabbed up that robber, and he seems to Atibubu.
Another resident, Kwesi Aga, says at least 2 people have died on the stretch this year alone.
Armed robbers normally come to attack us on the road because the road is so good. We collect all our money, and then at times they will kill some of us. This year, I heard about two cases, and one of my friends, they hit the eye.
The road affects more than just farming. Education is also taking the heat. Andrew Tamerica says students commuting to school are frequent targets of robbery attacks.
The road, as we speak, is having much effect on the children that are posted or placed at the Kajeji Ahmed Senior High School. Because when they are coming, they are met with these armed robbers. So the kids are not able to come. But here in the case, they are from far away, which they have no alternative than to come because they are placed here. So the kids sometimes feel afraid to come. Likewise, the teachers too. When they are coming to, they are attacked by the armed robbers. There was a case that a teacher was killed. Yes, going to last year, right? It was last year.
Mohammed Al-Hassan Sharif, a university student, says he constantly feels unsafe when traveling along the road. He believes fixing the road will not only improve security, but attract investors to the area.
With that report taking us on another break right now. Now, 6 out of every 10 Ghanaian youth is involved in some form of game of chance. We put the spotlights on sports betting, an industry that's scoring big with record revenues and an expanding market. But as the government rolls back taxes on bets, concerns are growing over a surge in gambling addiction. Let's dive into the numbers. Mao and I will do just that. What are we seeing?
First off, what we're seeing is the bet market is quite huge in terms of its value. Present is expected to hover around $290 million US. That's within Ghana's. The latest research by TGM, $290 million US. That's the value that's been placed on betting within the Ghanaian space, and it's projected to reach $380 million US by the year 2026. And so just next year, the projection is that this could spiral upwards a lot more and reach $380 million US. If we want to look at how individuals are accessing these betting platforms, a lot of them are doing it via their mobile phones, smartphones, lots of smartphones, and so that's enabling quickly how people are able to get access to these betting platforms. And you see, mobile app leading the way, and then the mobile browser as well. And so a chunk of it is happening quite personally, and so it's even more difficult to check that age limit requirement as well. And then persons who are using their desktops or their laptops or you name it what, constitutes the last bit. Then we look at participation. Which group of individuals are mostly caught up in all of this? There's a lot of talk about gambling addiction. In fact, there was a tax on this which has now been scrapped by the Mahama administration, much to the excitement of many young people. And you saw the former president speak to it on the campaign platform, and then when he was honoring that promise to lots of young people as well. Let's try to break down the number. And so for the males, the projection is that what? 57% thereabout are engaged in some form of gambling or any betting of some sort. Then for the women, that drops. And it will surprise you because a lot of you will be at home and be wondering, well, are women involved in this? Well, according to the research, there are quite a number of females who are also engaged in betting activity. And that number, when you want to look at between the ages of persons 18 to 24, we see that 56% of young persons within that age grouping are engaged in it. When we look at the age ranges of 25 to 34, we see it rise even more to around 57%. But let's look at what is driving people to engage in this particular activity. And a number of questions were asked. People asked to pick some of the key influencers for them in deciding to go this route. To win money, the very obvious, 74% leading the way quite astronomically. And then there are some who say, it's quite exciting having to be on the platform, being engaged in it, and all of that. Then there is a bit about competition. Then the others who talk about the thrill of betting. Extra spending also as well leads that follows closely. People seeking to try new things. Then there's the 11% who talk about peer pressure, and then interestingly, some find it as a hobby, and depending on which atmosphere you find yourself, you could be doing over 1.5 or over 2.5 amongst many other things. And so based on these latest numbers, we put the question to a lot of individuals or a number of individuals on the streets of the capital this afternoon as to what is influencing them into seeking to bet. Here's what they told us.
My first reason was that I bet in the sense that I want big amount of money so that I can better my life and stuff. The little money that I won before, I'll use that the other bet to be betting, and before I won again, the other one will finish.
A friend introduced me that betting is very good, so I went into it, but I see the betting is not helping me because I'm not getting anything out of it. I'm just losing, so I have to stop.
And so the influence is there. The biggest one, you heard him say, wants to win money and win it big, and from there he can proceed to do some other business as well. And as well, peer pressure. We saw that from there. And so that's what it is. That's what the data says, and that's been corroborated for you here on By the Numbers.
Yeah. Wealthy people bet on the stock market.
And so you just find this as...
Yes, so we put our money on the stock market.
That's how you
on the stock exchange, yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you think about it, it's a more safe way of using your money.
You can see your money burning, or you can see your money going
you know, and even if your money burns, you can keep it there for a little bit and then it'll grow again. But this one, once it goes, it just goes. I'm an advocate for the stock exchange. Put your money on the stock exchange.
This is a stock exchange as well.
No, this isn't. This is something else. And that's why I'm encouraging people to put their money on the stock exchange instead.
Right then.
Instead of this one.
That's Kemeni, our financial advisor for the afternoon. That's how we end this afternoon's bulletin as well. I am Mawina Igbeta.
And I am Kemeni Amano. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Bye-bye.